neglectful. I'm having to consider whether to file charges.
The AG sounds off on what some St. Thomas St. John Election Board members could face because of absentees during the certification. Plus, VIPD Commissioner Rodney Querrard issues a statement to suspend overtime restrictions after news that Senator Diane Capehart was robbed at gunpoint and carjacked. Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast tonight, Senator Diane Capehart and one of her campaign workers were held at gunpoint while they were robbed and carjacked Monday night. Police have issued an all-points bulletin for the senator's missing vehicle, but they've also increased patrols across the territory to help reduce crime. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
A campaign worker for Senator Diane Capehart was trying to put this sign up Monday night when both he and the senator became targets for thieves.
Senator Diane Capehart and another individual were erecting campaign signs when two persons came out of the bushes armed, demanded jewelry and money. Senator Capehart was actually in the car at the time. They went to approached her, told her get out of the car, which she did, and they took the vehicle.
The carjacking happened around 8 Monday night. The suspects picked up 3 more people from the bushes after they drove off. Police are still trying to find the senator's car that had campaign signs all over it. It's a blue Jeep Wrangler, similar in style to this one. As you can see, there are bushes all around me, so there are a number of spots where these suspects could lie in wait, and police say at night, this area is not very well lit. Despite the number of streetlights, police are lobbying for repairs.
That area over there is very dark. The chief of police on St. Croix actually had started an assessment of all the operable and inoperable streetlights around the 2 towns and surrounding areas.
Police have responded to the incident by putting more officers on the streets in both districts. Commissioner Querrard called off consent decree order training to step up efforts.
We know that it's not just a Senator Capehart's issue at this time. We know that there has been some other carjackings that have happened and robberies that have happened. The commissioner said the safety of the community at this time is paramount.
A staffer for the senator said she's in good spirits despite being shaken. Her ordeal set the wheels in motion to slow the growing cases of robberies. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Meanwhile, Commissioner St. Clair Williams of the Department of Sports, Parks and Recreation expressed his outrage at the blatant vandalism and destruction of government property that occurred over the weekend at its facilities on St. Croix. The department's main office at LBJ Gardens was broken into this past Thursday night. The offices were ransacked with various items being taken, including the removal of 2 of the department's maintenance pickup trucks from the parking compound. It was also discovered on Monday that the maintenance warehouse in the vicinity of LBJ Gardens was subsequently broken into over the weekend. Commissioner Williams, as well as investigators, are urging people to call the VIPD if you have any information. It's time for our back-to-school checklist. The 2014-2015 orientation schedule for students and instructional staff, they are well underway, and now you can log on to www.videvi or VideVI for the entire schedule. Opening and closing dates for school are September 2nd, 2014 and June 19th, 2015, respectively. On the department's website, visitors can track the progress on various state initiatives, including the Education System Improvement Process, ESIP, the Common Core State Standards in English, Language Arts, and Mathematics, and the Next Generation Science Standards and the Teacher and Leadership Effectiveness Program. Meanwhile, the Education Commissioner wishes all a happy school year, and we'll have more. Also, you need to keep in mind the Department of Health says the immunization program has been recognizing National Immunization Awareness Month during the entire month of August. Each week, they have been focusing on different aspects. The first week was babies and mothers. Week 2 was immunizations for 18 and under. Last week was college and family planning. And this week, August 24th to the 30th, they remind you that it's not just for kids. The focus is on adults. Now, keep it in mind that immunization is a lifetime responsibility. As part of the celebration, head nurses took to the airwaves to discuss the topics and urged the community to listen in and call in if they have questions. For more information, you can contact the immunization offices on St. Croix, which is 773-1311, extension 3254, or St. Thomas St. John, 774-7477, extension 2148. With the delay in certifying the primary election, the St. Thomas St. John Board of Elections is taking heat as some board members decided to go off island before the certification deadline. The Attorney General gives his take on what the consequences could be for board members who might have neglected their duties. News 2's April Knight has that story.
The problem of quorum in the St. Thomas St. John Board of Elections is drawing criticism. Some claim the primaries were certified late, mainly because in the days leading up to the August 17 deadline, there were not enough board members on island to finish the job. Now residents are complaining about board members missing in action at a critical time in the election process. The board certified the primaries twice, both after the deadline and one of those times under an emergency without a physical quorum. The fourth board member remaining on island refused to join in what she called an illegal post-deadline certification.
All they wanted was a body so they could say they have a quorum, and I was not going to take part in that.
As for leaving the island on days leading up to the deadline, board members say they did not violate any law.
There's nothing that says a board member must stay in St. Thomas or stay someplace for any particular time.
We can't tell how much, but tell our board members when not to travel or go.
My letter is not trying to tell anybody where they're supposed to go. My letter was, you need to convene a meeting to carry out the statutory duty.
The board also said they tried to certify before the deadline with a quorum on more than one occasion, but could not do so with missing data.
The same arguments that you hear here today. St. Croix had the same problem. St. Croix met their obligation.
Not all board members are out of the woods yet. The VI code states that the price for dereliction of duty is a $500 fine and up to 1 year in prison.
People who were willfully neglectful, who were on island and refused to go in and participate in the process, I'm having to consider whether to file charges.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Turn our attention overseas. The U.S. is considering expanding its bombing missions against the Sunni militant group known as ISIS. The terrorist group has already killed one American hostage and is still holding several others captive. Tara Mergender has the latest from the White House.
Speaking to a veterans group Tuesday, President Obama issued a strong warning to the Sunni militant group known as ISIS.
We have proved time and time again we will do what's necessary to capture those who harm Americans.
U.S. officials and family members say the Islamic extremists are holding a young American woman hostage in Syria. She is a 26-year-old aid worker from Arizona who was working at a hospital in Aleppo. She was captured last year, and ISIS is demanding $6 million for her return. Last week, the group threatened American hostage Steven Sotloff in the same video that showed the beheading of journalist James Foley.
America does not forget. Our reach is long. We are patient. Justice will be done.
The U.S. military began airstrikes on ISIS targets in Iraq earlier this month. The Obama administration is now putting together plans for possible strikes against ISIS strongholds in Syria.
We need to stay mindful of doing what we need to do to protect American citizens at home and abroad.
CBS News has learned fighter jets and drones are conducting surveillance missions over Syria.
We're not going to hold ourselves to geographic boundaries in order to accomplish that job.
President Obama is still weighing his options. Tara Merchiner for CBS News, the White House.
And keeping our eye on the economy, Best Buy is taking a hit as shoppers continue to buy online. The retailer says its sales declined 2% last quarter. Best Buy plans to grow its online business and enhance the in-store experience to boost sales. Here's a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 29, Nasdaq 13, S&P 2. Coming up on News 2, the significance of historic events. Dr. David Hall, president of UVI, and Superintendent Joel Tutine of the National Park Service signed a historic memorandum of understanding. Details Plus, a presentation is made to innovative companies for being the largest contributor of the 2014 American Cancer Society's Relay for Life fundraising event. Well, summertime fun is coming to an end. So how about something educational to prepare you for back to school? Ever thought about a guided tour? Well, they are not just for the tourists. We can take advantage of the lessons. The rich history of Charlotte Amalie, the former capital of the Danish West Indies, can be appreciated by taking a tour with a professional and knowledgeable guide. You can learn about the ballast that was used to pave streets of steps by the Danish, the pirate legends of bluebeards and blackbeards, see the beautiful architecture of historic houses, and view old cannons still positioned to protect the harbor. There are historical walking tours in Frederiksted as well, where you can learn more about the history of Fort Frederick. Guides will highlight the Danish colonial and African influences in the architecture of buildings. Well, one day after the National Parks Service celebrated its 98th anniversary, NPS and UVI officials shook hands and promised to officially work together. UVI's president, Dr. David Hall, and NPS Superintendent Joel Tutine signed a memorandum of understanding. It formalizes their existing partnership and gives them a little more.
It formalizes a relationship of making sure that going forward we can continue to provide quality education, reinforcement with using the National Park Service resources, and our university partners bringing students for enrichment in our culture and our history and the preservation of our resources.
Now our students can engage in more research projects, volunteer programs that they are engaged in with the Park Service, and hopefully get credit for that. More of our faculty members will be engaged in research.
This is exactly why the Virgin Islands and Caribbean Cultural Center was established, to do exactly what we're doing today and be able to be self-sustaining and sustainable at the same time. And the work has been going on, so now we just get to take it to another level. So we're looking forward to a number of internships, fellowships, scholarships, and other course development that are going to really take us to the next level.
Senator Tregenza Roach was at the National Conference of State Legislators, one of the nation's largest bipartisan lobbying groups. Senator Roach added his voice to those defending the full privileges of citizenship for United States territories, including the U.S. Virgin Islands. The senator attended the meeting in place of Senator Sean Michael Malone. Malone originally pushed the resolution asking Congress to review the U.S. Constitution and address the disenfranchisement of Virgin Islanders who cannot vote in the presidential elections. Senator Roach appealed to the committee's sense of justice, noting many Virgin Islanders shouldering the responsibilities of citizenship, especially those who participate in America's wars. The resolution passed and will now be forwarded to Congress for consideration. Employees of innovative companies were beaming today as they received awards from the American Cancer Society. Innovative was the biggest fundraiser for this year's Relay for Life and also contributed as gold sponsor for the event. Innovative employee Leroy Claxton was given special recognition for his outstanding organization of Innovative's 7 relay teams.
Award this year was for the top fundraising team. Innovative just took off and just like busted through the track and made over $18,000 as a team.
We're very excited. It really shows that Innovative not only donates money to charities and really helps the community, but we also put our elbow power in behind everything. And so our great set of team members did a tremendous job.
I will do it as long as I'm able to. And the group behind me, all the ladies who pushed me in front, it's a pleasure doing it.
Congrats to the team. Meanwhile, in other innovative news, Innovative Telephone experienced a telephone disruption on Saturday, August 23rd, between the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Now, this outage affected approximately 750 subscribers on St. Thomas. Lena Steele-Williams, who is the Director of Engineering, stated the outage stemmed from a software failure in several network components. The innovative technical team and engineers were on site immediately addressing the issue, and service was restored by 1:30 p.m. Innovative apologizes for any inconvenience this may have caused its customers. Looking for some engaging commentary on topics affecting the Virgin Islands? Then be sure to tune in to Talk 2 at 7:30 right after the news. The guest tonight will be WAPA's CEO Hugo Hodge as he discusses the LEOC, alternative sources of energy, and other issues of concern for customers. Tune in for powerful, engaging commentary. Talk 2 airs every Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. only on CBS TV2. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.